The anti-LGBTQ plus Pope Benedict is dead. Will we mourn? The Pope Emeritus, who retired from the papacy in 2013, said marriage equality was the product of the Antichrist, and he is no more. Former Pope Benedict XVI died at the age of 95 at a monastery in Vatican City on Saturday. He had been in ill health, according to Vatican officials. Known as a conservative theologian, he left a negative legacy on LGBTQ plus rights and called homosexuality, quote, an intrinsic moral evil, end quote. He was elected to the position in 2005 after the death of Pope John Paul II. His retirement gave way to the rise of Pope Francis, who has been warmer to LGBTQ plus people and has repeatedly called for some inclusion of queer people in the Catholic Church. The ex-pope's funeral will be held in St. Peter's Square on Thursday, while his body will lie in state at St. Peter's Basilica beginning Monday. According to CNN, even before becoming Pope, Benedict has been a powerful leader in the Church. He was born Joseph Ratzinger in Germany in 1927. Benedict was briefly part of Hitler's youth, although his family detested the Nazis. The outlet notes he was nicknamed Cardinal No after his efforts to stop the liberalization of the Church, including challenges to Catholic teachings on homosexuality and ordaining women as priests. Before becoming pontiff, he used his influence to silence an LGBTQ plus supportive nun and priest. He banned them from working with queer people. He was also criticized for not acting against priests who were charged with child molestation when he was Archbishop of Munich. And I want to add that before he became Pope, he was known for the leadership. He was leading what is called the Congregation for the Doctrinization of the Faith, which is the modern equivalent of the Inquisition.
Ooh, wow.
Anyway, so
are we mourning? Nope.
Ain't no mourning for me.
I don't think I'm mourning either. This guy was covering up all kinds of molestation charges, but God forbid, if you're gay and you want to marry, he was known as God's Rottweiler, and I like Rottweilers. All right, so there's a problem there. Cardinal No was another thing. His butler had leaked a bunch of paperwork on him back in 20. Probably what happened.
And leaked.
So his butler leaked some kind of paperwork, and slowly but surely after he resigned. So who knows what was on that documents that were leaked? A la Mar-a-Lago Trump time. So are we mourning?
No.
Yeah.
But more to the point is that his legacy, the thing is, every pope leaves a legacy that is beyond his life. For example, the reason that Benedict became Pope is because John Paul II packed his curia, which is kind of like a Vatican Congress, if you will, with a lot of conservative archbishops and bishops. And Ratzinger's legacy is that still today, Francis is still dealing with a lot of ultra-conservative leadership inside the church, which do not want to advance any kind of LGBTQ rights or women's rights, want, the doctrine to stay in the 16th century. And that's his legacy right there, which is not pretty, at least in my opinion.
I think for me, will I mourn? Absolutely not. I'm a person of faith. There's a lot of people of faith at the table. I'm a person of faith. I'm Southern Baptist, so it's almost as conservative as you can get in American religion. But I'm also not a fascist. And this Pope was a fascist. Yeah. And when you blow the dog whistle that he, for 2 years, was a Hitler Youth, at 10 and 12 years old, they were beginning to set the procedure of what Hitler was going to do. By the time he was 13 years old in Nazi Germany, and Hitler had come to full power it was no longer a democratic process in Germany. The Hitler Youth were participating in building the construction groundwork of the Holocaust. And I just remind everybody, when he says, when we say he was a participant in Hitler Youth for 2 years at a very particularly important time, not in the administration of the Holocaust because he was 13 years old, but in the philosophical grounding of creating philosophy of what he was thinking about. And at 13 years old, in that time period in Germany, they were saying what they were saying about the Jews to create a Holocaust. But they were also creating a policy toward homosexuals of the pink star and the Holocaust.
Triangle, yeah.
And he was right at the heart of that at 13 years old and becomes Pope. And Germany's
Talk about grooming.
Exactly. Celebrated first Pope in over 600 years who grew up learning to hate gay people to support a Holocaust. And that's why you read words connecting gay marriage and the Antichrist.
Wow.
And the other words that came out of his mouth.
And these are some of the reasons why I'll say it out loud, sometimes have problems with the Catholic Church, period, in general. Because it's supported. I mean, if that's your Pope, it's supported. It's a problem for me, as a person.
And one last thought, and not to live or talk in hyperbole, because it is a big event. This is a big week in his passing. But if we are going to be critical of the words and actions of our leadership, like Donald Trump, creating a January 6th and the other kinds of things that he did, we most certainly can be critical of the Pope who does and spoke the things that he did. Now, I'm speaking in terms of his LGBT issues, but I am not even talking about the vastness of the contradiction of his gay thought and policy, and then protecting those same priests that are in homosexual abuse of children, and he protected those priests.
Yep.
It boggles the mind of the contradiction here. And if this was Donald Trump, we would hold Donald Trump to a standard. You must be insane if we're not going to hold your Pope to the exact same standard. Am I mourning this week? Will I mourn on Thursday? Wait, please don't even broadcast the funeral for me.
Well, Barbara Walters died, so we'll mourn that.
I'll be watching Wednesday.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.